Hey, this is just a video where I'm going to be talking about my tone and gear and what I use to get tones for my covers. I get a lot of questions about it, so I thought I'd just go through the new stuff I've got. I did a video on it a while ago where it's more about how to make a cover, so I thought in this one I'll just show you the gear I use and what it sounds like, and hopefully that'll help you get a similar sound if you're looking for something like I get. So I'll show you the amp first, and then we'll go through pedals and other stuff like that. Okay, so the first thing we've got is the amp. It's a Vox AC30 VR. You should be able to see most of the switches on the top. I'm not going to go through every single thing because I've done it in another video, so if you want to know what each one does, then just watch that video. I've been using this for maybe 2 years now, I think. I might have got it around when the California album came out, but I pretty much just used it up until this point for like every cover. And like recently I just got some pedals, so I used to just use there's like a clean setting, a light sort of distortion setting, and a heavy gain setting. So I used to just switch between those for every cover, and all of the sound was just from the amp. But I've got some pedals now, and I've been using more of just a clean setting on this amp, and then running the pedals for like the different distortion tones. I'll just play a bit quickly from this amp on the different settings so you can hear how it sounds. So this is just a clean setting which I use for like a basic sound, and then I add stuff on top of it. So that's just your basic clean sound. I'll pretty much just use the amp if I'm just doing a song that's like all clean, because like a Vox clean sound is really nice, and you can just get sound from it really easy that way. I'll show you the kind of light gain sound. So that's just kind of something I'd use for, I don't know, maybe like a verse in a song, you know, if it's kind of, the dynamics are a bit quieter than the loud bits in the chorus. It's kind of good for tiny moving part stuff as well, because it's not like a super heavy sound he has, and like you can get the kind of tap and stuff, so that stuff kind of comes through quite nicely, because it gets a bit lost if you got tons of gain piled on. And I'll just show you the heavy stuff. It might sound a bit loud, but we'll see anyway. So yeah, that's just a really heavy setting. There's like the gain knob here, so you can just tweak it whenever. So yeah, I just use that for like Blink stuff, Green Day stuff, pretty much anything that's, you know, Weezer that's got like a heavy kind of gainy sound. So that's pretty much all the amp. I mic it up with my SM57, if you can see it there. I'll usually, I think most covers I normally just double track. So guitar on left, guitar on right, and like all my songs and stuff I do that as well. I did want to get another mic as well with it, so I can do like stereo pairing, but at the moment the interface I have's only got one XLR input and one jack lead, so I can't really do anything at the moment, but I might get that in the future. So yeah, that's the amp, and kind of like the basic sound I had for ages. So I'll just show you some of the newer stuff now. Okay, so then these are all the pedals I've been using recently. They're all Joyo or Joyo, however you say it, which is like a Chinese company, I think, and they just they're basically clones of more expensive pedals, but they sound really good, and they're only like £20, so really cheap as well. I never really used pedals, so I didn't want to, go out and buy the most expensive one straight away in case I never use it. So I just got these just as kind of like test things, and they sound really good. So I was thinking of getting maybe like a big muff at some point, and a couple of them more sort of, I guess, ones that everyone has. But at the moment his ones are fine and they sound pretty good to me. So I'll take you through each one. First is the US Dream. That one I mostly use for lead tone. That was actually the first pedal I got. So I think the 90s punk riffs one that I did, all of that was played using that pedal with like all the different guitars I have. And that got kind of quite a good sound, I thought. But at the moment, seeing as I got all the other pedals, I kind of just use it as a lead sound, because it sounds quite good just with kind of single string stuff, and it kind of punches through the rhythm tracks a bit more. So I'll just put it on for you so you can hear it. So yeah, it's a really kind of high gain output pedal. I think it's supposed to be a clone of the Sir Riot, which is like a boutique pedal, which is like 200 quid, and I didn't want to pay that. But yeah, it's nice, it sounds good for leads that I've mostly found. It's good for rhythm as well. It's just the volume is quite different from the amp output, so you're going to have to tweak it a lot if that's the only one you're using. Or you could just get like a booster pedal and control it with that. But yeah, like I said, I mostly have just used it for leads at the moment. So the next pedal I've got is the Ultimate Drive. Just you can see there. This one I've been using quite a lot for rhythm tracks, but like heavier rhythms, so I guess like choruses and that kind of thing of a lot of songs, or kind of like the heavier Green Day guitar sound, so like stuff like Holiday or Let It Bomb, those kind of songs it works quite well for. It's good for lead as well, and I use it for bass if I ever use any distortion on my bass tracks, because it's got a little high and low switch that you can see in the middle there, and so like if I'm using the bass, you usually switch it to low. It sounds good as well on guitar if you get it on low or high, just depending on the kind of sound you want. But yeah, it works really nice if you just DI a bass and play the bass through that pedal as well. So I'll just flick it on and play a bit for you as well. So yeah, it's got kind of a nice high gain rhythm sound if that's the kind of thing you're looking for. Works well with kind of any pop punk stuff, punk, metal even, I guess. I don't really play metal, but it might work for that. I think it's supposed to be a clone of a full tone OCD drive, which again is a lot more expensive. Not too bad, but like more than that was. And I was looking at a lot of like comparison videos, and they more or less sound identical. I can't say for sure because I've never had an OCD full tone, but that one sounds really nice anyway. Yeah, and then the last two are the California Amp Sim pedal and the Vintage Overdrive over here. The California one's supposed to emulate a Mesa sound, and then that one you can probably tell is supposed to be a Tube Screamer from the paint job. I usually couple these ones together when I'm playing, and I normally use them for rhythm tracks as well, but they sound quite nice when you stack them together instead of just on their own, because I mean this is my clean sound, that's for the Tube Screamer. I'm not using it to get much out of it, more just a boost, and then I'll use that with the California cycle. So you get a much kind of thicker sound from it. It has a bit of a weird sound, seeing as it's a like English amp and an American amp sim sound, but I like the sound from it. I used it for all of the long shot covers recently. It was just those two coupled for everything. I think I even used it on the leads as well most of the time. Yeah, and I'll just play a bit so you can hear a bit more of it. So yeah, it's got that kind of, I guess kind of like replacement sound, or like long shot, that kind of tubey, warm sound to it, which is quite nice for more kind of light, distorted sounds. I think I used that quite a lot with the Tiny Moving Parts swell covers as well. Most of that was all done using those two pedals. So yeah, that's all the pedals. I've been using them kind of on and off recently. I go through the pedals more now than I do just the amp sound. So probably the more recent covers you listen to will be one of those 4 pedals playing, rather than just sound from the amp. But the last, I'd say like two years were probably just the box sound and the 3 different channels on that one. Alright, and then another bit of gear I've got is this preamp, which again I showed in the how to make cover videos. I won't go through everything again because, like I said, I did it more in depth in that one. But I basically use it, I mainly got it as a gate to get rid of the hiss that I get on the mic that I have. But then it also has an enhancer, which, if you don't know what that is, it's kind of like an EQ, but it just has lows and highs, so you can either, you know, cut or boost. So I normally, it's pretty good for the bass covers because my strings are quite dead at the moment, but you can just boost the highs and then it sounds pretty good. So yeah, I use it to get rid of the mic hiss. It's nice when you DI and stuff as well. It's got a compressor on as well, which I use. Phantom power as well, so you know, if you got a condenser mic, that's always helpful. And then just, you know, output, like volume input and output. And then what I've been doing recently for a lot of the newer covers, so like the Pennywise stuff, and then a lot of the videos like the Blink-182 bass lines on guitar, the Green Day bass lines on guitar, those kind of videos. I've been using Guitar Rig 5, which is Native Instruments guitar software program, and that I've found gets some really nice guitar sounds. It's quite cheap as well, so I was using that. I think all the new Pennywise covers I did, because I like the Vox amp's really good and you can get a lot of different sounds out of it, but it can't really do metal stuff that well. It does okay. Like, I think I did a System of a Down cover ages ago, and it works quite well if you play with the Tom DeLonge ES guitar with like a really high gain output on that, but it's still not really the same. But the Native Instrument one gives you there's quite a lot of amps on there that had that kind of Mesa sound, or I guess like a 5150 sound. So they work nice if you want that kind of sort of like Dookie Green Day sound, or like a Pennywise sound, or like Enema of the State Takeoff Blink sound. So yeah, I've been using that a lot more. I'm not gonna completely stop using the box, but I have been liking it a lot more. And then I was thinking about getting something like an Axe Effects or something, because I know they're supposed to be really good. And I quite like working digitally, just like DI and stuff, because it's a lot cleaner and easier to record with. I still want to use the amp because they still have that sort of digital sound to them, where you don't really get any amp noise or anything like that, and it's almost a bit too clean. So I'm not going to like completely get rid of the amp or anything like that. I'm still going to use it a lot, but I do like using Guitar Rig a lot more. So that's if you want to get a tone that I was using on the Blink bassline videos or the Green Day bassline videos, then try Guitar Rig 5, because it's a pretty good software. Okay, so I just loaded up the Blink basslines to guitar project that I did earlier in the week. So I'll just show you what I was using on Guitar Rig for this video. I'll just try and find one of the rhythm tracks. Alright, so here's like the right guitar. So that one I was using, I guess it's supposed to be like a Mesa or a PV sort of model of guitar amp. So it has a kind of a metal-ish kind of sound to it. And then I sort of just double track, or do like left, right and centre, and then just use a different amp for each one, and usually a different guitar as well, just so it sounds a bit different and you can get a bit of separation between them. So yeah, that was that one. I think there's a left one up here. Yeah. So in the left one I was using like I think it was more of an amp for the lead sound, but you can also get quite a nice sort of rhythm sound out of it as well, if you just dull some of the highs and that. Yeah, so it's an easy software to use, because I've used Bias and other programs like that, but I can't seem to get on with Bias very well. I haven't used it too much, but I don't know, I've never really got a very nice sound out of it, so I never sort of came back to it much. But this one, you can pretty much just pick a preset and you don't even really have to tweak it much, and you can get what sound you want. I mean, obviously they've got stuff that's supposed to be like a Boulevard's sound, or you know, like all the small things sound, so you can kind of just pick those and sort of go from there with it. But you pretty much just drag and drop stuff. So you know, you want like pick like a guitar amp, so you got all these different ones here, and then you can just, you know, you want like a sort of a metal sound or like a Pennywise sound, just go with like something like that, and then pull that up, and then say you want like a phaser on it, and you just go there, and you got all your sort of modulation effects and that. So it's really easy to use, and it's just like a drag and drop thing. So put that on there, then you got a phaser on it. So I've been using that a lot more recently for I think that I can remember, I know it was all the Pennywise covers. I think I played the Devil's Kind long shot song with it. Everything else was through the pedals, but Devil's Kind I used Guitar Rig on. It's also helpful as well if you're playing at night and you don't want to, you know, have an amp on. You just DI it, and then, you know, you're listening through headphones, so you basically don't even make any noise. So that's always good. Yeah, so that's what I've been using a lot more, which I'll probably use a lot more just because it's been easier. I've been recording new songs as well. I used Guitar Rig for all of the tracks on that so far as well. And I usually pick a bass amp as well from it. I usually just have like a DI track, and then I'll double that track and then pick a bass amp from here on it. Yeah, so that's pretty much how I get all my tones. So pedals, the amp, Guitar Rig, preamp. If you've got any questions about it, let me know. I'll probably try and do just a general Q&A video at some point if people have questions just about anything. So if you're interested in that, just let me know, and I'll put links somewhere to ask questions, or just answer the ones on this video in a separate video, whatever's easiest, I guess. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and let me know if you have any questions about anything.